Is it a video?
Yeah?
Is it a video?
No, just a moment. I start sharing the slides. I'm now starting to share the slides. So we are now in a great business. So today we are going to discuss about boundaries without guilt and learning to say no with confidence and compassion. Now, let's start off by watching one video. It does not have sound, but just look at how this lady does. No, no, no. Who's ever had such an encounter? Eh? Anyone who has ever had such an encounter? You are sharing, Susan, you have had such an encounter you are on.
No.
So you are lucky. And you have ever had such an encounter? Patrick, have you ever had such an encounter?
No, I haven't.
You are still growing. You'll have them. Some days you'll feel you are sharing a video, you are sharing with your spouse, and then later on you realize you are sharing with your son or daughter. Then you, wow, what have I shared? What have I shared? Now pulling it out becomes something different. Something
Okay,
different.
let me say this then.
So you still,
Some of
yes.
us growing up, when we are watching television with our parents, there are some sceneries that would pop up, and then you hear your father say, "Time to sleep, everybody in your bedroom."
Those who remember the sounds of the bold and the beautiful on KBC TV, whenever you hear din, 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 that song with the bold and the beautiful is coming up, you'll be told it's time to go to sleep. So you have already watched whatever you can watch because now the scene might be embarrassing. So now it's boundaries. This lady had not determined the boundary, so he did not confirm who is he sharing this information with. He thought she was sharing with the peer, but now the boss was there. The peer had left, and the boss was there. So in that case, it turned out to be very embarrassing moment for her. Now, one take this opportunity to welcome everyone for this session. And today we are just going to discuss simple things, setting healthy boundaries without feeling guilty. And many people struggle saying no, protecting their time. They struggle to say no to prioritize their own needs. So today we will we learn practical ways to establish those healthy limits while maintaining a positive relationship. Hmm. So now we have this small thing. Which statement best describe you? A, I find it easy to say no. B, I sometimes struggle to say no. C, I always say yes, even when I don't want to. Then D, I feel guilty when setting boundaries. So which of those four statements best describe you? Hey, Patrick, you are Susan, you are on. You can be the first one. Which of those statements best describe you?
Mine is B, struggling to say no.
Susan is struggling to say no. Patrick?
I think mine is C. I almost always say yes, even when I should say no.
Okay. Thank you. And
I'm taking notes so that we'll go back to everybody's feedback.
Munira,
B. I also
D,
struggle.
you struggle to say
Although
no.
with counseling, I have moved up. It's now easy to say no. But before that, before entering counseling, I used to struggle. But now it's become easier.
To say no. It
Yeah.
have become normal. Okay.
Yeah, but there are situations when you have to be a bit diplomatic. You can't say no, but you have to be diplomatic, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, with who it is, and
So
you have to
look at
just gauge the situation or with which people it is and all that. Your elders, we in our it's culturally, elders are supposed to be respected, so you can't just say no. So I don't
not
struggle,
to
but
an elder
now,
person.
yeah, if I want to say, I can, but just being diplomatic.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Let's hear from Lillian.
For me, sometimes A, it's easy. Sometimes it's B, depending on the different scenarios and different people.
Different circumstances. Okay. Nanis.
I would say that it also depends with the situation and also the person I'm dealing with. But I would say that personally, if it's a no, it's a no. If it's a yes, it's a yes. But now, depending on who I am dealing with, sometimes struggling on how to say no. Yes.
Okay. Let's welcome Rose and brace her of what we are discussing. Rose, we are asking ourselves this statement or this scenario. Which statement best describe you? A, I find it easy to say no. B, I sometimes struggle to say no. C, I almost say yes, even when I don't want to. And then I feel guilty when setting boundaries. So, of those statements, which one best describe you, Ross?
Good evening, all. Thank you for your patience. My apologies for being late. A statement that I would relate to is it's not very difficult for me to say no. However, there are times I struggle with the saying of the no, depending on who I'm saying no to.
Okay, thank you. So now we come to Caro. Which statement best describe you?
I find it easy.
To say no.
Mine, I find it easy. Yeah, I would say like Munira, I used to struggle with saying no, more so to my parents. A little background where I've been brought up in Tanzania culturally, you can't just say no to your parents. They will crucify you, put you on the tree and do so many other crazy things. But I would say after some trainings and therapy and all that, right now I find it easy to say no. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as I feel I'm not comfortable with something, I'll just say no.
Yeah. Okay.
I would explain also. I would go a little and explain the reason why I feel, so that the other party also knows. You're not just saying it for the sake of it. It's just that you are really not feeling up to the, so that the other person understands. And they are okay with it. Otherwise, they they are angry with you. How can she tell me no? You see, that kind of so I think you want to make the situation, what should I say? How would you say? The situation, you want to make it, What's the right word, Kata?
More cautious. You just use a little bit of respect and courtesy so that this person won't feel you offending them.
You don't want to offend them. That's the thing, and you want a win. You want a win-win situation, so that you get their cooperation. You see, so they don't feel offended. That's all.
Yeah, thank you. For me, 2 years ago, I used to feel guilty when setting boundaries. Because when I started off my career, I was employed as a customer service person. And every time I was being told you don't let down the customers, you have to embrace customers. So I felt that everybody who comes closer to me must be smiling the way I smile. But it reached a point I couldn't sustain because I find it's a weekend. Two people are requesting you to go to them to attend their particular event or their events. Now you can't, don't want to let them down, but you can't split into two. So at times it gets to the level because now I don't want to feel that I've taken sides. I switch off the phone and just sleep in my house. So I end up not supporting any of them. But now, with the time, I've at least gone to the level I sometimes struggle to say no. It depends with the circumstances or who. It depends with the person, personality, who is approaching, the way we have related. Sometimes I might struggle, but I don't find it now. I don't feel guilty. So Anne wanted to contribute. Anne, I'm sorry I had forgotten you.
No, she had texted that we give her some time. Yes, Anne.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I've made it home. Yeah, I was leaving the office, now I'm at home. And I appreciate the question. It's helping me reflect. So now, I think as a result of being doing counseling and also being able to take other people do that inner work, I feel like I have learned to set boundaries without guilt. Prior to that, I was working in a church environment in the full-time ministry, and I was working with women, but also from our leaders, it will be very rude, to say no, even though inwardly I would feel like I want to say no, because I don't feel like I want to do this or it feels very comfortable, but it will come across quite unspiritual or ungodly or prideful. So I would find myself saying yes. And that culture, that spirit, that culture in where I was serving in the full-time ministry now had created me, that practice of saying yes. But when I started doing counseling, that really helped me do my shadow work. And I feel like I'm at a point where I can say no. Of course, like what you're saying, not in an aggressive way or abrasive way, but with a lot of awareness and respect. And maybe explain a little bit more why I am saying no. But I can only control that. I don't, depending on how the person will feel, I may not control it much, but I'll try and control the way I say it, to the person. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution, and thank you everyone for the contribution. Now we go to the second question. Everyone to complete this sentence. I wish I would say no to without feeling guilty. We can, for the interest of time, we can put it on the chat so that we don't consume much of the time. We can put on the chat what you wish. I wish I could say no to without feeling guilty. So the chats are coming in. Rose, you said I wish. No, just tell us just one word. He has not finished the statement.
My apologies. My phone is all over the place, so it sent the message. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem. So, Caroline, you wish you will say no to yourself without feeling guilty. Patrick wish you can say no to parents without feeling guilty. Uh-huh.
If I might but explain a little bit, now we're talking about boundaries. I was just reflecting. I don't know if it's a weakness or a strength, but if I set my mind to something, there's a lot of noise.
Anne, you can mute. Oh, thank you. She has muted. You can proceed.
Okay, I was saying, I don't know if it's a weakness, but if I set myself on something, I find it very difficult to say yes to other people, but not to say no to other people, but not to myself. I just let me say maybe go make a very good deal. Then I tell myself, in Kiswahili we say, I don't know if Mundira understand this. Wacha niende nipigie mwili pole. I won't say no to myself. I would just go and become a very miscellaneous spender until anyway, it's just something that has my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for explaining. Now, yes, Nani say we should say no responsibly without feeling guilty. Or some responsibility.
No
Yes, thank you. So everybody at least has us. Yeah, thank you. So at least everybody has a scenario that you wish you would say no, but you didn't say no, and it might have costed you some fortune. For instance, because we are African, when you are looking for sweeter, then you are told now you see, oh, our daughter is well behaved, has gone to school, and in that case you have to pay this colossal amount of money in terms of dowry. Then other than that, now because you are working, now they convert you into a cash cow, an ATM. So in that case, those things I wish if I said no, I would be very rich today. But because I did not say no, I will spend a lot of fortune in that particular perspective. Now, now we look at how to understand healthy boundaries. So, if you hear boundaries, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind when you hear the word boundary? I'll only allow two people to contribute. The first two people who like to be the first one. What comes to your mind when you hear word boundary? Then the other two people will also share with us. Can you think of a healthy boundary you admire in someone else? So two people can prepare the first question. The two people will respond to the second question. Then you can proceed. Who like to be the first person?
Yeah, allow me to mention this.
Yes.
Yeah, boundary is a limit whereby you don't go beyond, or somebody should not go beyond, especially when it is about you and you feel it's right. Then the person should stop at a point to avoid being offended or feeling guilty. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's a limit. The second person who like to share what comes to your mind when you hear the word boundary? Yes, Lillian.
Yes, what I can accommodate easily without feeling, without regrets thereafter.
Yes, what you can accommodate, that's what you talk of boundary. Now, I'd like also other two people now to tell us, can you think of a healthy boundary you admire in someone else?
Yeah, I can share.
Can you think of a healthy boundary?
Jotham.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Anne.
Yes.
I can share.
Yes,
I have
Anne.
a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, and financially for me, it's the place I would want to learn to tell myself not to feel, oh, okay, like now for her, if she knows that this money is meant to be used for particular items of that time, she cannot buy anything that she has not planned for. She cannot buy something she has not planned for. So she's doing very well financially because of that boundary she has set for herself. Financial boundary.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so she has put financial boundary, and you might say money in her wallet, but she tell you I don't have money because it's not for the purpose you are requesting. That's great.
Yes.
Another person. Yeah, that's great.
A boundary is
yes, Munira, you are on.
something. Yeah. Is who talks to whom in what manner, that is very, very important, because people you can have loose boundaries, you can have rigid boundaries, people can cross over you, or so it's very important. Boundaries protect you. There are boundaries of respect. A healthy boundary is where there is respect. Yeah. And many times my boundaries are crossed in counseling because clients come half an hour to 1 hour late. So I get really angry because, they cross your boundaries and you just don't know. Because it's African culture to come 1 hour late, half an hour late. They never keep time. It's not like the UK or Muzungu time that, you say 7, you start on 7 at 7. Yeah, so it really, so they don't respect your boundaries because I think, they've never been taught. So there are boundaries of time, there are boundaries of respect, or there are many types of boundaries, but it's who talks to who in what manner, I think. That's the key about boundaries. And boundaries are supposed to protect you.
Yeah, sure. So now we have people, and like you, they don't respect your time, and they want you now to have all the time for them. You have scheduled to meet that person at 7:30. Yes, so that by 8 or by 8:30 you should be done. You are going for another meeting, but this person deliberately comes late at 8:15. So you only have 15 minutes to leave that office so that you can go to attend other issues. But now you want to have a whole 2 hours with him or her, and yet you also have other engagements. So in that case, that can be draining. So unless we learn to say no. But I've seen there are some doctors, you book appointment, if you miss, they surcharge you. If you miss, they surcharge you. That's now their way of now instilling some of the discipline. So you are supposed to go there to wait for the doctor. You are supposed to be there on the queue. Not that the doctor will finish and be waiting for you to come in. Because if you wait for you to come in, by the time you're coming in, there'll be a penalty for it. So thank you, those who have shared. Those who have not shared, I'm not shutting you out. We still have more things to want to share. So there's a message. Just a moment, I check message. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Caroline also experienced the same. That a client came late and started saying, "You came early." Yes. And so that some of the clients might drain you. Now, let's try to identify this statement either as a healthy or unhealthy boundary. If you say this statement, let's try to categorize. And remember, one statement depends with the personality, because remember you have looked at the levels of how do you struggle to say no, how comfortable to say no, and several of us are at different levels. And because we are at different levels, one statement might sound healthy to one person and it might sound unhealthy to another person. So we may not have a common ground. But let's try to categorize. Who'll categorize the first statement? I need some time to think before I answer. Is it healthy or unhealthy?
Healthy.
It's healthy.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. That's healthy. Uh-huh. And then the second statement, I will answer work emails after 8 p.m. I will
Healthy.
answer work emails after 8 p.m. Yeah, it's healthy.
That's healthy as well.
it's healthy.
It's
It's healthy.
unhealthy.
Okay, Annie says it's healthy. Susan is healthy.
I think
There's
it's
one person who has said
unhealthy.
it's unhealthy. There are two people who have said healthy.
Healthy.
8 p.m. You carry work home.
Unhealthy.
I think that's unhealthy. It's after working hours.
It's after working hours. 8 p.m. is a family time. Huh? It's supposed to be family time. So in that case, that might be unhealthy response. Now, the third statement, you must do what I say.
Unhealthy.
You must do what I say. That's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy.
I am unavailable this weekend.
Healthy.
I am. That's healthy. Then I will solve everyone's problem.
It's
I will solve
unhealthy.
everyone's problem.
Unhealthy.
That's unhealthy. Yes, it's unhealthy. You can't solve everybody's problem. Even if we start sharing amongst ourselves, then you say, let's try to solve them. We cannot solve them. Even yours, your own personal problem, you cannot be able to solve them. So that's unhealthy. So we are still talking about understanding healthy boundaries. And now, what are the healthy boundaries?
What is
So
your
healthy boundaries
definition
are
of boundary?
limits.
Sorry, Jotham, what
That's
is
now
your
what I'm
definition
giving.
of boundary? You haven't put
My
that.
definition of boundary. Oh, okay. I was giving two people to define. So my definition of boundary is the limit. It's the limit what I can do or what's involved within the scope of work and what is not within the scope of work. So those are now the boundary. Now we can now define the healthy boundaries. So healthy boundary now are limits we establish so that we are able to protect our time, we are able to protect our energy, we are able to protect our emotional well-being, we are able to protect our values, and we are also able to protect our personal space, and we are able to protect our relationship. That's now what we refer as boundaries. Healthy boundaries. People get bereaved, and it's good to go and control with them. But there comes a scenario where we say, no, that cannot be sustainable. That's not sustainable. I will not be able to attend to that. So you choose what you can attend and you leave out other. So in that case, you're looking at it. Yes, you have been involved in so many activities. You need some me time. You need some time to cool off. So in that case, now you say, no, I cannot be able to attend to that. I cannot be able to travel to that distance to condole with a friend, but I can give a phone call. I can, if we need some support, I can send financial support, but instead now I'll not be there to give the emotional support. So in that case, you have set a healthy boundary. Now, how do we benefit from setting these healthy boundaries? So we'll benefit by reducing stress. We'll also have better relationship. We'll have increased confidence. Then you'll also have improved emotional health. Then you'll also have prevention of burnout. So if you agree to do everything, ultimately you may not be able to sustain either that you'll burn out, you'll get worn out. You have had a very busy week. Then the weekend, now this weekend we are supposed to attend a wedding in Mombasa. The next weekend you are supposed to attend a burial in Kisumu. By the time you all do all those movements, even if you're going by flight, you will eventually burn out. So now we have to identify those healthy boundaries so that we are able to protect ourselves.
I want to add.
Now, myths of healthy boundaries.
Can I add?
Yes, add Munira.
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
you
you can
can
add.
get greater respect from people. That's one of the biggest benefits. Because if you don't have boundaries, people don't respect you. They cross
Sure.
your boundaries and walk over your boundaries, and you feel really bad. So before that, I think it's important to set boundaries so that you get respect from people.
Be sure. If at all you are always available, I can invite you. Or
You never say no,
at
then
night,
people
and
walk
I'll
over
invite
you.
Yes, people will keep on imagining you are always available. So the moment you say no, I will not be available for this, then they'll now learn to have discipline. That's very well. Thank you, Munira, for adding. Any other person who would like to add before we proceed to myths of boundary, of healthy boundaries? Susan, you are on.
Sorry, I didn't
Susan,
get
your
you.
mic is on. You would like to talk?
No, not really.
Your mic is on. Okay, then we can proceed. Now, let's look at the myths. Myths, generally from the story myths, those are the stories that don't exist. But they are good stories so that they warn us or they prepare us for some occurrence. For example, my grandmother was very good to give me stories that you should not walk at night. There's a great animal called ogre, and ogre has one eye and has a big mouth, and it can swallow you. It can swallow you. So in that case, it will warn you that you are not supposed to walk at night, especially when you are growing up. And now, so we will avoid walking at night so that we don't get swallowed by the ogre. And then you'll also tell you stories about some birds that there are certain small birds that didn't want to engage in activities. So you tell you now this bird, whenever we are saying, whenever the birds have agreed, it's time now to harvest. Let's go to harvest. That bird will get an excuse. No, I can. I am feeling I have a stomach ache. Now, whenever they say now it's our time to plant, let's go to plant. No, I have a problem. My leg is aching. Now, whenever it's time to weed, it will give an excuse. No, I cannot go to weed. My wing is troubling me. But now, whenever they say now it's time for us to eat, and then that bird says now eating is not work, so I can come to eat. Those are the stories you are being told, and the stories, those stories had some background in message that yes, you don't go to work out at night, the ogre can eat you. You don't if you don't participate in work, then it means that you are taking other people for granted, so you are not contributing. Now let's now look at those stories that we hear about healthy boundaries, which are not actually health boundaries. So health boundaries are not being selfish. You cannot amass everything. You cannot give out all the responsibilities so that you remain free. Then you say, now I know how to set boundaries. There are those people who say, I'm working smart, not hard. No, that's not fair. If you are giving all the responsibility to other people so that you can be seen as if you are working smart, that's not a healthy setting boundary. Being rude, yes, sir. So you just become rowdy so that people can avoid you are bringing in some element of violence so that people can avoid you at all cost. That's not setting a boundary. Rejecting people, just because you have some success. Then you say, now I don't want to associate with my neighbors. You know, my neighbors, what are they going to add value to me? Now I can afford everything. That's not setting boundary, because there will come a time with those resources they may not work for you. For example, if you feel ill and you need somebody to rush you to hospital, those resources are not going to help you. It's the people who are around you who will be able to assist you to get to the hospital. So in that case, now rejecting people does not mean you are setting boundaries. Controlling others. That now I'm the facilitator. Now I want to control. You must say what I want you to say. No, that's not setting boundaries. That's being mean. Then also avoiding responsibilities. I want the somebody who used to say that I don't want to take a lot of responsibilities, because if I take a lot of responsibility, then my error rate will increase. So if my error rate will increase, then the manager will see me as not being a responsible person. But now, if I take fewer responsibility, I'll not make errors. In that case, manager will see me as a responsible person because I'm not making errors. You don't realize that I'm also not doing much. Then when it comes to time for promotion, because I don't have a lot of errors, I'll be the first person to be promoted. But that's not healthy. Why leave other people to? Why should you joyride on other people? That's not healthy. So now let's look at why people feel guilty while setting boundaries. Now we have 3 questions. First question is, why do people struggle to set boundaries? The second one is, what guilt message have you experienced? And the third question is, what happens when people never say no? So I'll allow 2 people to respond on each question. So you choose one of the 3 questions that you can respond on. 2 people per question. So we start off with the first question. Why do people struggle to set boundaries?
It's because they have grown in dysfunctional homes where there are no boundaries. Or their boundaries are there, but they are very loose. People can talk to anybody the way they want. They can talk to their parents, and nobody takes any offense. So the boundaries are very loose, and people break those boundaries. So
yes.
So they come from dysfunctional homes, I would say, why people struggle. So they have no idea, because it's normalized in their family to talk like that, or where it's normalized not to have boundaries. So that's why they struggle. If they have to go outside at work and set boundaries, they wouldn't know how to set it.
So that means people who come from dysfunctional families, they will have trouble to set boundaries. The second person who like to contribute, why people struggle to set boundaries?
The other one can give a scenario of maybe a boss and an employee, whereby the employee is under the master of the boss, and the boss may be taking advantage of the employee. So at the master of that employer, the employee can find it very difficult to set boundaries because he is a boss. And you go against the authoritative instructions from the boss, you may end up either losing your job or being sidelined.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, sir. Authority. Because of authority can also make you not to set boundaries. Now, the second question, what guilt messages have you experienced? Anyone of us ever experienced a guilt message? Anyone who has experienced a guilt message? Patrick?
I'm trying to think about what a guilty message would sound like. And I'm sure I have received it in my work. Maybe an example that I would give, because I'm in the healthcare industry, particularly in the surgical discipline, is if I have a patient who requires a surgery and he comes to me and then goes to see another doctor, but as he's being managed by the other doctor, he's still consulting me. And then he maybe throws a statement like, usipotusaidia huyu patient hata pona, something like that. I have to set a boundary between me and the patient because he is currently under active management on another site. So I cannot sort of affect the management of my colleague just so that I can, because I may change the medication and the patient may even get worse. So it is better for me to allow the other professional to handle that issue and set that boundary with the patient so that we are not the patient is not in two worlds. Maybe that's an example I can give.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Ross Jerry, what guilty message have you experienced?
Guilt message that I have experienced. I and this because I have an understanding of communication being 80% non-verbal and then there's a 20% verbal. I don't know whether this is something that has been common in the older generations, especially when they would come up with their own businesses and they're hoping that their friends will be able to support them. But now in the current generations that, up until where we are at with the Gen Alpha, but mostly between the millennials and the Gen Zs, there is the common assumption that when I do begin a business, it is obvious that you're going to come support me, even though I know you may not necessarily need that very commodity that I may be, vending or started a business on. So a guilty message I non-verbally sometimes may receive is someone sends you that this is something that they're doing and you actually do applaud them for it, you congratulate them and you wish them well, and from time to time when you can, you pray for them. However, because you have never directly purchased, and remember, you do not necessarily need the very item because, in this economic environment, you have to be very prudent in your spending. So you already have enough. The minimalistic kind of living, you already have enough. So you look at the situation of, are you to please your friend to purchase something that that money could have been used for another more, important need in the home or even personal needs, say even fare or lunch for that day, just so you can sort of, appease the very person who either directly or indirectly have sent non-verbal communication that they're not pleased with you, given that you have not promoted them, quote unquote, promoted them this far, because they have the assumption that you are in their social circles, and so it is you that they're looking to give them the money. Anyway, that is what comes to mind. I don't know whether it resonates with some of us, but yes, that's what came to mind.
Yes, thank you. You see, we start off with the business, and we are looking at our family, our friends as the potential customers, even if you are not providing the solution. And you wanted to add, or we are going to the third question? You want to add on that one?
Yeah,
your hand was up?
Yes, it was up. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
When I get clients who've gone through a very, very traumatic experience, and they come for counseling, and then now they ask for how much. Maybe they've just had very traumatic loss, and now it's time for me. I finished the session, so I need to charge. Ooh, that's normally the hardest for me, to tell them now, you're paying this amount. So I even found myself sometimes either, really reducing the amount or almost feeling like it's okay, But yet in my mind, I'm thinking, if it was a doctor, the doctor would still end up charging, or the lawyer. Where am I being too sympathetic? So that is a boundary sometimes I feel I open up, but because of sympathy, other than professionalism,
Yes. Thank you. Yes. And there are reasons why, probably the upbringing, the environment, how you grew up, it makes you not to say no. Now, We are going to the third question. What happens when people never say no? What happens to people? What happens when people never say no? Munira, you are on?
Yeah, I think people don't take them seriously.
Yes, people don't take them serious. Hey, Patrick. Yes, Patrick, you're also on. What happens to people?
People take advantage of you.
Ultimately, people will take advantage. They'll know, this the to-go guy. Anytime he's always available. I like this person. They will even blackmail you the way you are always supporting them. But now that's not always the truth. Now, let's move on and look at what happens. Common sources of guilt. We have childhood messages. Good people always help. Don't disappoint others. Respect means obedience. Those are the messages that we have grown being told. You get our grandparents told us, our parents told us as we are growing. When we go to school, we are told, you see, you as a child, you are supposed to respect the elders. You are not supposed to argue with the elders. You are not supposed to tell elders off. You don't have to disappoint people. People will see you as a bad person. Then as we grow, then it becomes difficult for us now to say no, because if you say want to say no, you feel that's not okay. Fear of rejection. People may get upset. Relationship may suffer. Fear of being judged. Now, how would they feel, or how would they think about me? You see, now if I don't attend that particular function, my friends will not be very happy about me. So if I don't get there, we are likely to damage our relationship. Those are now the stories that we have been told. So in that case, as we grow, we have grown with those stories, but now we need to overcome them. People pleasing habits, seeking approval, avoiding conflict, overcommitting. Now, yes, it's not bad. By the end of the session, we'll prepare a questionnaire and we'll ask you, give us feedback. How was the session? How have we run? Which areas can we improve? Which areas can we? That's okay. But now, if at all, every time I'm asking, by the way, how was I? How was that presentation? Then I'm looking at what can I do to make. So that's now seeking approval. So in that case, that can make me not to feel guilty, because if I ask you how was the presentation today, then you say, now today you didn't do this, you didn't do it, but you did this. Then tomorrow I'll be looking at can I now incorporate what you have suggested? Then incorporating what you have suggested, then ultimately I'm getting out of scope. I'm getting out of my plan. So because I will get out of my plan, I will not be able to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve in the first place. I'll do whatever you wanted me to do. Then ultimately you'll say, now you see this person who was even clueless. He didn't know what to tell us. He was just bringing us together, but he didn't have something new to add to our lives. So in that case now, that can also make me feel guilty. If I want to avoid conflict and also want to overcome it, I can do everything. That's not that will make me feel guilty, because after committing and I don't do, then I'll feel guilty. Another one is cultural and family expectation. So our family expect that sacrifice is expected. You see, let's just sacrifice. It's a family member. You see, it's a family member. We have to sacrifice. Self-care may be viewed as negatively. You get it? Today in the morning, I was talking to my uncle, and he was telling me his son, whom we are age mates, his son has a daughter in a university, and that daughter has not done any exam for the past 1 year. So the son apparently does not seem to have time to go and see what has happened, and does not have money to go and pay school fees. So the uncle said, now, can you come in and sisters. Can you go to visit that particular university and confirm what could be the problem? Is it that this daughter dropped out from school, or could it be that this daughter literally was blocked from doing examination because for a whole year he has never done even a single cut? Yes, he has never consented to us any single cut. Now, because now our family, because of our culture, we are expected to sacrifice, then I'll have to accept, yes, to go and verify. Remember, this university is out of town. It's not in within Nairobi. I'll have to sacrifice a day or two. I'll have to travel. Either I'll travel at night to get there in the morning so that I can check on it. Then once I've clarified or the whole day, if I will not be able to finish up within the day, then it means that I'll have to spend there night so that I can finish up the following day. Then I have to bring them a report. On the other hand, the parent of this baby is just they are just around. They're just loitering. You get that? So in that case, because of those cultural expectation, because of that family expectation, then you might find that I might go feel guilty if I say no, I cannot go to that extent. Now, those are now the sources. Now, exam time. I believe everybody has a piece of paper.
Can I say one thing?
We want to do a simple. Yes, you can say one thing before.
Yeah, these cultural expectations is where parentification. It's one very important one in the African context and even in the Asians, where the eldest child takes the responsibility of the younger siblings. Suppose the mother has lost the father, so the eldest child assists the mother to take all the responsibilities of the other siblings, and then there are problems.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yes, so we have a scenario where now our parents or our children are taking care. They're even consoling. A son is assuring the mother, if I grow up, I'll build you a house. That's the responsibility of the father, not the mother. Now, yes, thank you, Munira, for adding that. Now, each one of us has a piece of paper, or you can get a piece of paper. We want to do examination very fast, and if you pass, we'll clap for you. If you fail, you'll have a receipt tomorrow. So, are we there? Everyone has at least some writing material. Very simple exam, don't worry. I cannot give you a technical exam. You are not doing a technical course. All of us are ready? Anyone who needs some more time to prepare? Anyone who has, who I know I didn't alert you to get a piece of paper on time, but you can just get a piece of paper. Get a piece of paper. I'll give you 2 minutes to do exam. There are just 7 questions. Just 7 questions. Now, as you assemble your paper, let me give you the instruction. I would like you to score these statements. I would like you to score these statements. And we are using a scale of 1 to 5. We are using the scale of 1 to 5. So, 1, where 1 is least or least likely, and 5 is the most likely. For options 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Option 6 and 7 is now reverse. Option 6 and 7 is reverse, where 5
Can you repeat
is
that?
most least likely.
1 is least likely.
The instruction, and 5 is most likely. And that applies to statement 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For statement 6 and 7 is now the opposite. 5 is least likely and 1 is most likely. So you score either 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, for each of the statements, then we get the total score that you have. Sorry. Let me hide here so that you are able to see. So I'm giving you 2 minutes to score. So by 6 minutes past 8, we come back for discussion and see what you have scored. You score each of them, get the total. You score each of them, then you get the total. Caroline has scored 30. Thank you. Others, once you have gotten the total, share the total. Then it take us to the next session of discussion.
Can you share the scoring? I saw the scoring.
The total.
Here.
Yes. Yeah. Once you have scored, you get the total.
Yeah. No, but I saw the scoring on the here in the slides.
Yes. Now we want to discuss those scoring. Once you have shared what you have gotten. Our time is up. Wes has finished scoring. Anne is at 20. Patrick is at 15. Susan is at 24. Nan is at 24. Caroline at 30. Ross at 25. Lillian at 28. People are scoring good scores. Have you all done? We go to look at what that score means now. We can interpret the score. Anyone who is still pending? Munira, I haven't seen your score.
$20.
Munira, have you scored? You have gotten 20.
20.
Okay.
It's 20.
So now let's look at what that score means to us. For those who got between 29 and 35, that means you have strong, healthy boundaries. Strong, healthy boundaries. Remember the maximum, because there were 7 questions, the maximum you could have gotten was 35. So if you got between 29 and 35, you have strong, healthy boundaries. That means you generally communicate your needs sufficiently. You are comfortable saying no when necessary. You maintain a healthy balance between caring for others and also caring for yourself, then you are less likely to be manipulated by guilt pressure. Now, what should you do if you have that strong health boundary? What should you do? One, you need to continue practicing consistency. Then you also need to mentor others who struggle with boundaries. Then you also need to review boundaries periodically as life circumstances change. Then you also need to watch for signs of burnout during periods of increased responsibility. Now, let's look at the second category. For those who got between 22 to 28, that means you have moderate boundaries. You are developing the skills to have healthy boundaries. So you have what it means that you have some healthy boundaries, but may struggle in specific situations. You occasionally overcommit. Certain relationships or environments may make it difficult to maintain boundaries. Guilt may still influence some decisions. Now, recommendation that what you can take, action you can take. One, identify one area where boundaries are weakest. Then practice assertive communication script. Then also learn to pause before agreeing to requests. Strengthen self awareness regarding people pleasing tendencies. Then develop personal boundary statement for challenging situation. Now, let's look at the third category. For those who got between 15 and 21, that means you have weak boundaries or you are at a risk. What it means that you frequently prioritize others' needs above your own. You may experience resentment, exhaustion, or stress. Saying no feels uncomfortable. Then fear of conflict or rejection may influence decisions. What you are recommended to do? Begin with the small boundaries. Then practice saying, let me think about it and get back to you. Identify situations where you regularly feel taken advantage of. Then reduce overcommitment by limiting new obligations. Then also consider accountability support from trusted friend, coach, mentor, or a counselor. So that's now what you need to do. Let's look at the next category. For those who got between 7 and 14, that means you have serious boundary challenge. That means you may struggle significantly with the people pleasing. Yes, yes, yes.
I didn't see anyone who's called that here.
So we can ignore it.
The list was 15, unless the members are interested in knowing just an overview of what it entails. But
because I will share the slides, they can read on their own.
yes, please. Because the list was 15, it means
So-
now we are somewhere in terms of boundaries and we'll go beyond.
Keep on. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Are we happy with our score or we would like to repeat to do the examination? Are we happy with our scores so far? Lillian is
Yes.
happy with her score. Susan is happy. Anne is happy. Okay,
I've
so
got
we know what we
29.
need now too.
The last two you said it's the opposite.
Munira, you
so
got
29.
29. Oh, you okay? Oh, the last two you rated it differently. So
Yeah. Now I realize that I
if
did.
that's okay. Oh, so you are okay. So now we want to get to the boundary script for work, family, and relationships. So how do we set boundaries at our workplace? Work boundaries. Instead of us saying, okay, I'll do it, we can try if we're saying this. I currently have other priorities. I can assist next week. It's humble. It's a cautious. You have said yes. I'm not rejected to support you, but now the week is already. My diary is full. I'm unavailable after working hours. So in that case, you don't give me assignment past 5 p.m. I cannot take an additional responsibility at this time. Right, so that's it's cautious, but communicated that you already have your plate is already full, so you cannot take any other responsibility. Now, when it comes to our family, instead of just committing that fine, I'll do it, try to tell people this: I care about you, but I cannot help today. I need advance notice before making commitments. I am not comfortable discussing that topic. Right, so that yes, we keep off. Some family members will come up with the things that we need us to rehearse, need us to discuss, and you feel it's not right time, or you feel they are not coming in because they want to assist, because they are feeling concerned. They are just coming in because they are conducting data mining. They want to get information so that now they can go out and say, you see, person X confirmed. I talked to him or I talked to her in person, and this is what he actually said. You get it? So that person was not coming to talk to you so that he can assist you or he can console you, but he was just coming to get information so that he can spread the breaking news. Now, how do you set the boundary when it comes to relationship? Instead of saying, because of love, whatever you want, I will do. No. Try to say, I need some time to process before responding. You can learn to say, I'm uncomfortable with that behavior. You can learn to say, I need mutual respect in this conversation. So that assists us to come up with that, to set up some boundaries, so that we can set some boundaries how we continue to relate. The next thing we want to discuss is about codependency awareness. So I'll define what codependency awareness for the sake of all of us. Then now we'll respond to these three questions that follow. Codependency awareness. And now codependency awareness is a pattern where a person's sense of worth becomes dependent on helping, on rescuing, on fixing, or pleasing others. Or it's a pattern where a person's identity becomes overly tied to helping, fixing, rescuing, or pleasing others. Have you heard of this organization called St. John Ambulance?
Yes. They were given money
St.
the
John
other day.
Ambulance to construct a head office, because their role, for them to be performing, they must be assisting other people. So
Their
if
role
they're
is
not going out there where they say, yes,
I'm saying their role is to rescue.
yes, to rescue. So that means if they are not rescuing, then they cannot get the validation of what they do. So they must be out there to rescue for them to be seen to be performing. Now, we also have people who behave as if they are part of St. John Ambulance or they are Red Cross Society. So they have to be there. I have to support. If I don't attend to this event, if I don't support this, and they may not be able to do, they'll not be able to achieve this wedding. If I don't go there, there are no people who are going to eat that cake. So I must be there to eat that cake so that we can that wedding can be sufficient, can be well done. So now we want to respond. Now, because you have understood now what our codependence is, we want to respond to these 3 questions. I can give now three people per question. What behavior suggests codependency? What behavior suggests codependency? Can allow 3 people to respond to that. Then you get other 3 people who will respond. How can helping become unhealthy? Then other 3 people will respond on what is the difference between caring and rescuing. So who is responding on the first question? The first person to respond on the first question.
Hello, come
What
up with the
behavior
questions
suggests
again.
codependence? The first question we are responding is, what behavior suggests codependency? Or what are the things that you can look at and identify this person is suffering from codependency? Yes, Anne.
Not able to, when one is not able to problem solve, they are constantly running to people for solutions. They don't take time to think through options, or towards solving a situation. So they are constantly asking everybody around them, what do you think, what do you think? Yeah, and they cannot make a very independent decision. Yeah.
Yes. If people are not able to make decisions on their own, so they have to consult and consult and consult and become mixed up from the consultation because they have gotten so many feedback that they are not even able to make a decision on them. Thank you, Anne. The second one, what are some of the behavior we can look at and identify this person is a codependent? Yes, Munira. Munira and then Lillian. Lillian will be the third one.
I think they're so entangled, Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they are
emotionally
together,
intelligent,
symbiotic relationship they have. I've seen that a lot. They're so
Yeah.
codependent on each other. If what one feels, the other person also feels the same. If one person
Yes.
feels sad, the other person feels sad. So they're so codependent on each other's emotions. I don't know whether
Yes, it's okay. They seek for that emotional support. Your disease is my disease. If you are sick, I'm also sick. Yeah, that's okay. That's another behavior. So, Lillian, your hand was up.
Yes, at workplace, some colleagues who snatch work from others. Someone has been assigned some task. When that person is preparing to do it, he's already informed somebody else is progressing. That person went behind.
Can you talk loudly, please? Can't hear.
Or her back. And look to do that work. Not once, not twice. They should be seeing like they're doing the work.
Okay, thank you. So that means taking over the work from others, snatching work from others. That's what Lillian is sharing. Yes, you have been assigned a responsibility. You are planning how you are going to undertake it. Then you find somebody has already rushed to office and gotten that particular assignment. Yes, you might be doing that just to please the boss, to confirm to the boss. You get that's a fear. There's a fear that this person is suffering from, and that's why you want to seek validation. Thank you, the three of you who have shared on that first question about what behavior suggests codependency. Now we want to look at the second question, which is how can helping become unhealthy? How can helping become unhealthy?
Yeah, allow me to say this.
Susan, yes?
Yes,
Yes,
let
yes.
me take all of us to a working environment whereby we have shared
Yeah.
responsibilities amongst the staff. And then it happens that there is one of the members who may be, say, let me use this word for better of a for lack of a right word, clumsy, that the person may not be doing work well, and there is this person who feels work should be done well. So this person may start helping to correct the mess that is there, and it becomes a habit. Anytime there is work given, fulani afanye. Anytime work is given, fulani afanye. It reaches points whereby there's always one person doing work while somebody else is not doing. It becomes unhealthy in those scenarios. Unhealthy in both cases that this other one is overworked while the other one is not doing much.
So we can classify that as perfectionism, eh?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, if you are seeking perfectionism, you want to do it the best way. So, yes.
Yes. Now, the case Susan has mentioned is of two people. One who is so good at delegating their responsibilities. In types of boundaries, these are the people who are called controllers stroke manipulators. Now, with the controllers stroke manipulators, these are the people who their work is being done by everybody else and they take credit for it. And another perspective that comes is now this person who has a weakness of saying no. So when they are given responsibility, they won't say no. They will just accept. But of course, they are feeling overburdened. But because they can't say no, because the other person maybe has some authority over them, or the other person, once you try to say no to someone, they try to water down their feelings. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that clarity. Yes. So in that case, we might have generally this person is endowed with the skills to do their good job. So in that case, we have to assign that job. But we also have those now who are taking advantage, who will always say, "I don't usually work harder; I work smart." But they are taking advantage of the other team members. You must just work hard, not those smartness. Hey, the second person to contribute, Rose. Rose, you have not heard from you. Then Nanis will be.
Okay. When you ask the three questions in the manner that you have followed them, what behavior
We are now
suggests codependency? Yes. I'm there, but I'm reminded of the substance use issues, which I don't know if
yes.
it came out right, because we have enabling and we have codependency in substance use. However, I believe that has been well discussed. Now, how can helping become unhealthy? And I want to look at the person helping, not even necessarily the one receiving the help, but the person helping, because you see, even as they're helping, perhaps whether they are sympathizing or empathizing, or genuinely they just have the skills, or they're well exposed or predisposed to be able to facilitate helping this individual, they equally put in as much investment as the individual seeking the help, which is okay and totally fine. But now, what happens when either the help that is being accorded sort of is delayed in that the outcome is not perhaps as quick as hoped or desired, or second, it ends up even all together not working out,
And you find the individual who had been trying to help is left with so many questions of why not? Like, why did it not? And this could either make this individual, the next time they are approached by a similar, or rather a different individual with a similar issue, or just, again, depending on their skill set, are approached to assist, they may have to think and overthink and think about their boundaries, whether are they willing to say yes or no, because you see, the first time it did not work, or rather things went the way they did. This second time, a similar situation has come. And again, allow me to refer to the aspects of substance use. So say, for example, this is an addiction counselor who is trying to help the individual. And as we know, with addicted brains, as long as the triggers are there, from time to time, you cannot, fully say that the individual is in full remission until the next comes, and you don't know how bad the relapse will be from the last and all. So what is the effect of the individual who is helping in this case? Do they feel drained? Do they feel capable to even push on? I say this because there's a cousin of mine who needed assistance in a crisis she had, and while I could not be fully involved, given that there was a conflict of interest in that we are related, I sought assistance from a colleague, and he tried to help where he could, but it got to a point I could tell he's not necessarily frustrated as such, but he's beginning to feel as though he's gotten to a level. The way he described it, I believe Nkadha and members would perhaps describe it better. There comes a time in therapy where there's progress, and then there's a plateau phase before either if you're progressing up, or there'll be a down before the up. So I noted that stagnation, and I could see how frustrated and it was for him. He was able to have a lot of self-awareness to understand what is happening, but then now trying to re-engage him, I see he's already taking his time to think about it, so that he can be able to harmonize and make peace with what happened before. And that now maybe my cousin may be at a place where she actually will have results, given that this time she's the one willing to have the therapy, as opposed to if it was coerced or forced on her, which we did not. It just was suggested to her, just that at the moment the person who was meant to be helping with the payments was an auntie of mine. So she's not a minor per se, but was dependent on the parent. So that's how I was involved. But this time round, I can see he's sort of taking his time to think about it. So when I saw this question, that's what I thought of. However, on the person being helped, perhaps again, the dependency part of it, then it's as though they relinquish their, not rights per se, but they relinquish their abilities maybe to cognitively say, number one, either have proper decision making skills, or critical thinking, or even problem solving. It's as though they pause on that particular executive function of the prefrontal cortex. I just put a pause because I have someone I can go to, I can help me. So I feel like sometimes there can be that level of redundancy. However, again, I stand perhaps to learn on what you may have thought of with the question. Yes.
Okay, Rose, interesting. Let me say this as a practitioner. I actually don't accept much of clients who are recommended. The first question I'll ask you, is this something you want, or is this something you're pushed for? Because in every decision making, boundaries takes a lot of control. It's more of a control issue. And you see now, if this person is not feeling they are in control of going for those sessions, or they feel perhaps these people are pushing me for this, and they themselves, it's not in them, they will go after now they have, if it's a trauma case, after now the trauma processing phase, and they start having flashbacks and all that, this person will now sink deeper, because it's not something that they wanted. It's not something that they want to work on themselves. Why am I saying this? Because I've met both good who are recommended, but it's something they want. And I've met people who are kind of feeling like they are being pushed to therapy. Now, when you try to help someone to get better and they themselves don't feel they need to get better, I always say you are the one who has the problem, not them. Because their problem is affecting you, but their problem is not affecting them. If it reaches a point now their problem affects them, you have to actually develop such boundaries to an extent this person feels their problem is affecting them by having consequences to whatsoever thing they are doing. If it's alcohol and it's draining them, let them have consequences for drinking alcohol. If it's their behaviors, they are becoming abusive, let them live in solitude until they know abuse is wrong. So until someone feels like their behavior is affecting them, then you who is helping them is the one who is having a problem. We can continue?
Yes, thank you for that clarity. Hopefully, Rosie have gotten concept. Munira, you are on, and Patrick, you are also on. So we can listen to Munira and Patrick.
Oh, I don't have anything to say.
Yeah. Okay. And then you can mute Patrick. Patrick, and then Nani. Nani, you'll be next.
But I agree with what Kata said, that somebody doesn't want and you are just going there to rescue the person. That becomes unhealthy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would give, Munira, allow me to give an example with a child. You know, last year I got a parent who came to me and they were like, oh, my son this, my son that, my son this, my son that. And then I asked them, where is your son? He's at home. Oh, so what is the problem? Because the person you're talking about doesn't even feel the problem. The parents were so used to rescuing the boy. He would go misuse money, they will send him extra. Go misbehave in school, they would change school. Go do this, suspend, they would go to school, cater for everything. The son knew no consequences. Now, you see, boundaries cannot exist where consequences does not exist. Yes. Yes, Patrick was next. Sorry.
Yes. The example I wanted to give, I wish the slides could be put back on so that I can read the question again. But the example I wanted to give was about handouts, in short. So on one hand, you feel you're helping someone by giving them money, which they have not worked for, and they keep coming back for it, maybe for an unhealthy habit like drugs or gambling, one of those, and you keep giving them that money thinking that you're helping them, when in actual sense you're making them sink deeper and deeper into the bad habits that they are currently engaged in. So I think that's a situation where you're helping, but it's unhealthy.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Patrick. Thank you for others who have shared. So now we can move on to the third question. What is now the difference between caring and rescuing?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Caring for someone, you can care for someone without really taking away the consequences of their actions. It's let me give an example. I have a boy, a son, and if my son per se misbehaves in school, and then I'm being called in school, of course I love and care for them, and then I ask, what happened? Then the teacher says, your son was rude, maybe said some mean comments. And then I go, oh, my son cannot do that. That is rescuing. Caring is now telling your son, okay, my dear, I love you, but there is respect. You're telling them you did a mistake, you were rude, you were disrespectful. So I, as your parent, take control of saying, I'm your guardian, but you have to face the consequences of what? Your actions. If per se the school decides to say things like, you know, we should punish him and give him suspension, I'll just accept. Exactly. Because you're caring for someone, but you're not taking away the consequences of their actions from them. But the moment you care for someone and you overcare by taking away the consequences, now the problem becomes yours or not them. So they don't learn any responsibility.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. So that means if at all the son makes a mistake, like now when we are growing up, by the days we are growing up, corporal punishment was allowed, and we could be punished by even neighbors, we could be punished by the people in the community. So today, if you attempt to punish a child in the community, the parent will come to you or ask you who gave you permission to punish that child. So in such a scenario, the parent is rescuing the child, but is not caring for the child. Is rescue the child. So you cannot. You find a child making a mistake, but you cannot mention. So you are better off. Let me look aside so that we even don't interact with the eyes. So I don't imagine I've seen. So in that case, if the parent finds you well and good, if it does not find that's their problem. Rather than
And I think
engaging myself in activities.
I think we are all aware of the crisis in schools right now. It's because these children are used to being rescued each and every time. I had a case, the parent was like, my son cannot do that. And they are very sure until the CCTV was produced. So, as in, parents are so used to rescuing their children, thinking you rescuing him or her, you're helping them. Yes, Trina, continue.
Yes. So thank you. So now we know what rescuing is, and we know what now caring is. But the Gen Zs, we interchange as Gen Z parents. We interchange. We think that now because we suffered, because we went to school barefoot, so now our children should not go to school barefoot. So we have to struggle to get them more, at least nice, nice shoes. And then if they are, because we are caned when you are growing up, now nobody should cane our children. So in that case, we end up rescuing them rather than taking care of them. Now, what are the now coping mechanism do we have for those people who are setting up boundaries? So some of the things that we do, we can now start by saying affirmative no. We are not negotiating. I've said no, I'm not engaging in that, and you're not negotiating. Then number two, you don't no need of explanation. I've called you, I need some urgently 5,000, of which I will return by tomorrow morning. It's not an emergency. I'm not telling you I've taken somebody in hospital, and even if I've taken to the hospital, most hospitals, the first priority is that we must save the life rather than looking at the money. So if it's an emergency and you have taken to hospital, they'll not tell us now you have to raise this 5,000 before you stabilize your patient. By the time we are raising this money, the patient will have gone. So in that case, it's not an emergency, but I'm telling you, I've sent you a message, send me 5,000, I'll be able to refund you tomorrow morning. What's the hurry? I want to pay landlord. Can the landlord just wait for tomorrow morning, then I pay him? Yes, sir? So you can say no without explanation. Either you have that money or you don't have that money. You don't have to explain. You know it's mid-month. You know my employer has not paid. You know I had also the commitment. You know last month I had an activity, so I've overcommitted my money. Don't get into that explanation because you open up or you open up for other requests that were not ordinarily on the offer. So you can just say no and you don't explain. Also, try as much as possible to be consistent with the boundaries. Once you have said no, we don't do that in our house. It's done. Not that we can do it when if person X asks for it, we can do it, and person Y, if you ask, we can be lenient. No, that means the you will not be able to handle that boundary effective. So if you have said now we don't do this in our family, we don't do this in our home, it's complete. You are consistent with it. Be it the request coming from the child, be it the request coming from your spouse, be it the request coming from your brothers or your sister, you don't do this in a house and it's done. It's not subject for discussion. So in that case, now you are able to set those boundaries. But the moment we know if you have a soft heart for your daughter or you have a soft heart for your son, so in that case, we'll be using the son or daughter to come and make those requests. So if we want to eat we want to go out and take pizza, and we know if we come to ask you will not agree. So in that case, we'll use that soft spot, soft landing, that son or daughter to come and ask, can we go out? And then ultimately the others will benefit from that request. So also categorize yourself that or use this phrase, I am responsible. You are responsible for your own happiness. I'm responsible for my own happiness. You are responsible for your emotional health. I'm also responsible for my emotional health. I should not wait. I should not sit there to lament. You know, my spouse has not done this to me. You see, my children have not done this. My children are draining me a lot. No, they have their life, and I also have my life. So in that case, I'm responsible for my life. They are responsible for their life. I'll guide them, but if it goes to haywire, then I'll not go to that high extent to care for them. I'll not go to that high extent to rescue them from whatever they are engaging in. There's a gentleman who once said that if at all we go to protect our children from the mistakes they are doing, tomorrow we'll hire advocate to go and defend them in court for the same mistake. So they have started on pickpocketing. So now we defend them. We will know I know this person always on Sunday is always in church, on week is always in church. So I assume this person is very religious, but he's hiding from me. He's putting on a mask so that I may not be able to tell. But when he go, whatever he does in my absence might be heinous. So in that case, I'm responsible for my life. They are responsible for their life. Avoid generalization and stereotype. I know these people from this particular region. Know these people from this. No, that's true. You just attend to a person as an individual. I know this specialization. I know this, so that that's not allowed. So you are now supposed to avoid those generalization and stereotype. Personal boundary action plan. We have discussed, you have defined what boundary is. You have looked at what are the myths of boundary. We have looked at what is good, what do we do, and what we don't do. And we have looked at how to set those boundaries. Now, we want to do this as an exercise, and this will you will do at your individual time. Do we then we submit. But because of confidentiality, I wouldn't like you to submit to the email to the group. So we'll share how you are going to submit so that Carol and I will be able to see, and then we can be able to guide where necessary. So as an individual, this is what you need to do. You'll identify One boundary you need to strengthen. You have to identify why that boundary matters. You'll also need to identify some of the potential challenges that you'll encounter while taking that particular boundary. Then you have to set up a boundary statement. A boundary statement is what I've given, for example, I'm a responsible husband, I'm a responsible man, I'm a responsible. So my boundary, for instance, I want to take care of my family. So in that case, my boundary statement is I'm a responsible husband. So in event you ask me to go out when it's supposed to be family time, then I tell you no. In event you ask me to go and eat out in a hotel, when dinner, when I'm supposed to eat with my family, I'll tell you no, I'm a responsible husband. I'm going to eat in my house. There are people who say in Kiswahili, amekaliwa chapati. Amekaliwa chapati. Ni heri akaliwe chapati, have a better life than, yes, you have your boundary, umekaliwa chapati, than those who wajakaliwa chapati, but they are constantly in friction with their spouses. Then you must identify one action for this week. What are you going to do to assist you achieve that particular boundary? And then, preferably, you need to identify accountability partner. Identify accountability partner. The accountability partner is the person who is going to remind you. Remember, you said when you wake up, you want to have a 30-minute stretch before you go to work. So this person will continuously be reminding you. You have not done that. I know some of us might have registered for gym in January because we had a very hefty December and we enjoyed in December and added some weight. So in January we registered for gym, but by second week of January had already dropped out of that gym. So now you must have an accountability. Remind you that you need to work out. You need to work out. Then that will assist you. Now, in conclusion, before I open this floor for question and answers, healthy boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are guidelines that help us build respectful, balanced, and sustainable relationships. When we set boundaries with clarity and kindness, we protect our well being while strengthening our ability to love, to serve, and connect authentically. So, when you have the boundaries, you are able now to become your personal self. You remove those masks that I'm a strong, like now men, we are told you are strong, you are not supposed to cry, you are not a friend. We are human being. Other than being men, we are human being. So in that case, we have to remove that mask. Another take-home assignment. We have three scenarios. You have looked at how to create those boundaries, and you have looked at workplace, you have looked at family, and you have looked at relationship. So I would also like you to identify or to look at these scenarios and look at how we get out of it. So at workplace, you have a supervisor who is continuously assigns additional work after office hours. You just open up your email at 5:05, then you find a new email has come in, and this a client who need this report before the end of the day. Then you're asking before end of business. So then you're asking yourself, okay, when is business ending? In that case, you look at that scenario. Then now, how would you set the respectful boundary, and how would you maintain professionalism? Scenario two, under family, you have a relative who frequently requests financial support. And now what we would like you as to develop is how to say no respectfully, and also how you are going to manage guilt. You're going to tell your father or mother cannot send you money and you don't feel guilty, yet he paid your school fees. Scenario 3, we are now looking at the relationship where you have friends who expect an immediate response to messages. People who send you a WhatsApp and they expect, because I've seen you online, then you must respond. It's the phone which is online, it's not you. Sometimes they'll even send you past midnight. And because they found the phone was online, they'll say, okay, he has just received the message and he has not responded. So they start now making an issue out of it. So now you'll have to identify how you are going to communicate, your availability, and also how you are going to manage the expectation. Now, just some few questions to guide you in coming up with this particular assignment. You have to identify what you felt difficult, what language worked best, and how did the guilt show up, and how did the confidence affect the conversation. So those are the assignments that I would like you to work on over the week. So I'll open a session for questions if there are questions or concerns that we can address before we officially adjourn the session. Any person with a question or concern?
Thank you.
Yes, Munira. Yes, go ahead.
It was a wonderful session. I enjoyed it. And I just want to leave. I've got work. Thank you for the session. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you, Munira, for the compliment. Another person with the issue that we can address?
Yeah, I want to also appreciate. I feel like, yes, Anne. Yeah, it's been quite enriching, very, very enriching. And I like the discussions because they're really opening my mind as I also hear you ask the questions and reflect that back on us. I really appreciate. Now, I was wondering how somebody how I can work on mental boundary, because I think the whole day there's a lot of engagement with client issues, and sometimes the virtual sessions can go. Sometimes I can pick some evening virtual sessions for my private practice. So I find that the momentum of the energy I've carried the whole day is still in my mind. So my mind is quite active. You see, like even today's session, when I'm done, I still feel like my mind will still be quite active from what we've learned today. So I feel like sometimes I don't get to know how to switch off my mind, and from being too engaging with how my day has been, and I want to learn to know how to switch it off and now get into family and my personal life now. Yeah, mentally, more mental than physical.
Yes. Okay. You have a preferred song? Okay. So Carol, you can go ahead.
That's an interesting question, though. I would say, what do I use? Me, I like giving my personal life as an experience, because now from this time up to my bedtime, now what do I use? Sometimes evening tea would do, like hibiscus, like what? That word. I have some herbs. Number two, what do? I take away of the technology. You take away of the technology, take a shower, take some tea, then go to bed. By the time you're done with that process, you see now, the moment you, let me tell you, you tell yourself you're going to check just one message, you start stimulating yourself again. So it's just you now having a an evening routine. It could be a song, it could be something, but now you need to take away things that trigger you. If it's technology, if it's TV, if it's anything. And now, once you've taken away the technology, you just have an evening ritual. Take a shower, journal if you like journaling in the evening, take some tea, then go to bed. Forget about the phone, it will be okay. Forget about the client, they will never come to an end. They will continue being there. Clients never end and they will still be there. But now it's you to tell yourself, now it's time for me, it's time for my rest, it's time for this. Yes, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. And is that helpful?
Yes, it is very, 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 especially not picking technology, picking the phone to check on anything else that will stimulate me. I think I need to be very, very firm with that. Keep the phone away completely. The others I tend to do showering, taking my sweet chamomile, and but I think the picking the phone is the one that I need to completely have a boundary with. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you too. I saw somebody who put in a ringtone specifically for family members. So when it comes to evening, you'll have a specific ringtone if it goes on, because you might not permanently do away the phones, for instance, but now you know this is a family member, so I can attend to that. And then if the other for ringtone, that could be a customer, that could be he has to wait. It's not office time. Remember, you're not working 24/7. You will burn out, so you can also apply that. Thank you, Anne, for that question. Another member who might have a question or a concern we can address.
This one, Shala.
Let me check on the chat. Munira?
Can we have the recordings?
Yes, today we have recorded. So after the session, it will take some few minutes, and then I'll be able to share the recording.
And even the first two.
Now, the first two, let me apologize. Technology let me down. The first one, I recorded the video without audio. So you are not able to see the video, but you cannot be able to see. I did record the mic.
Yeah.
So in that case, that has an error. And the second one, also it made an error. So I may not be able to share. But now for this one, immediately I'll
okay, the presentation, the first presentation.
The slides. Yeah, the slides.
Yeah, the slides of the first one.
Yeah, first one you will be able to get. Immediately I will finish, you will share out.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. So if there's none, yes, if there's no other question, we can take this opportunity to wish you a wonderful evening. May God protect you throughout the night. May God see you throughout the week. May whatever activity you are going to do glorify the Holy God. Have a wonderful week ahead.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.